Yes.
And so this is why I'm here, because of Barbara Spinders. I had a relationship with her. Had not seen her in years. She's a little kid. Now she's a grown person, making me feel like I'm old. But she talked about you, Tanya, about you and your personality and the organization. In fact, I'm going to also do an endorsement for it as well. But the thing is that relationship capital, that because of your passion, because of the work that you're doing, and she admires that, she convinced me to come. And said, and we ain't gonna pay you, and you're gonna pay your old plane fare, and you're gonna pay your old hotel. And we're gonna be staying at the Red Roof Inn, all right? So let's give Tanya and Barbara a round of applause. Now, I'm going to do something for you. I'm going to share something with you right now that's going to be major in your career. Now, we're going to do it live. Give you an example. Write this down. Strategic sound bites. Strategic sound bites. There's a book that stayed on the New York Times bestseller list, and it was called The Road Less Taken, Less Traveled. Remember who that was by? Say it again? Scott Peck. It stayed on there perhaps longer than any other book. You know what he did? I'm going to show you what he did this morning. And what he did was, he did 4 to 5 radio interviews a day.
Yeah.
Wow.
Now, how did he do that? Because one of the things he did, he got trained on how to be effective in communicating in sound bites. So to promote yourself free, your book, your business, your consulting, there's a process to this. I want you to write this down. Never let what you want to say get in the way of what the audience needs to hear. Never let what you want to say get in the way of what the audience needs to hear. What will separate you, and this is how I train speakers. Most speakers, their thinking is governed by the Dale Carnegie course. Tell them what you're going to tell them, and then tell them what you told them. Have you heard that?
Yes.
Okay, my favorite book says, in all that getting, get understanding. Find out who they are, and allow your thinking to address what their needs are. And here's something else. Always make the audience bigger than you. It's not about you. It's about the audience. When you're speaking to an audience, there are 3 questions they're asking. And I want to do a live interview for you, and I want you to see how I do this. As an example, I want you to observe, and then I want you to give me some feedback. We're going to have a teaching moment with it. When you're speaking to someone, one-on-one, small group, or in large groups, and this is what most amateurs don't know, people are asking 3 questions. Who are you? What do you have? And why should I care? Who are you? What do you have? And why should I care? And so the hundreds of speakers that we have trained, and many of them who are traveling around the world, impacting thousands of people's lives on all continents, in seminars and workshops, and building multi-level marketing organizations. One of my people, Trina Pettifoot, she's a millionaire earner in 5 links. One of my other speakers, Ed Blunt, he's with World Ventures. He is earning 6 figures. Johnny Wimbery, earning 6 figures. People that I've worked for, Mary Mayfield, she is with, my cosmetics.
Mary Kay.
Yes, Mary Kay. People are big, Katrina Ferguson with Legal Shield. The people that as a result of your coaching and training, that you don't just run up and do this, you want to invest in yourself so that you will stand out. How many want to stand out? Raise your hands, please. How many like to save time and so that you want to figure this out. And the reason that I got coaching and spent thousands of dollars doing it, I started out at 45. So I don't want to be putzing around trying to figure it out and making a lot of mistakes and paying money to people who hadn't done anything. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yes, and I'm going to show you the journey of how I've come and where we've been. And I want you to check out the time. So I'm going to make this call so that you can leave. What time is it now, sir? Because the call is going to be at 9:30. I will show you how I handle this.
9:20.
It's 9:20. Good. Okay, let me know when it gets 9:28 and then I'll call them in. Now, anybody, you saw what I did yesterday. Remember talking about creating special moments?
Yes.
Do you recall that?
Yes.
Now, here's something else I want you to do. When you tell a story, don't just tell the story, experience the story. Experience the story. Did you see me do that?
Yes.
Yes. And what does that do when you experience the story and you're telling the story? What does that do with the audience?
We feel it too.
The audience will feel it as well. Because what you're doing is allowing them, you're transporting them into your story. But here's the key, and this is very important. Create bridges with your story. Create bridges. Now, we give you an example of that before we get into this coaching call. You want to create bridges. Teaching moment, let me give you an example. You know, when I start thinking about the fact that as I was walking all over these big, beautiful homes that my mother had to clean and families that she cooked for, and I said, Mama, she said, yes, Leslie. One day I'm going to buy you a big, beautiful home just like this. Leslie, you don't have to do that. I know, Mama, but I want to. And ladies and gentlemen, that was my goal. That was my vision. How many of you have someone that you'd like to do something for? Raise your hands, please. Very good. Now, notice what I just did. I created a bridge. It wasn't just about me buying my mother a home. Now I created a bridge to make my story. I brought you into the story, because when I said, how many of you have someone that you want to do something special for, how many of you thought about that person? Raise your hands, please. Okay? Am I making sense with you on this? And so what I did was, now, just rather than just telling you the story, I brought you in. So I said, Mama, I'm going to buy you home. You don't have to do that, Leslie. I said, no, I know, Mama, but I want to. And I did. How many of you want to do something for somebody that you feel special about, someone that you love? Raise your hands, please. Very good. Now, I'm going to show you how you can do that. Now, what does that do when I tell you that? Say it again.
Set us up to prepare to get the information.
Say it again.
You set us up to absorb the information you're about to present.
Yeah. Now you have a committed listening and hearing to me.
Yeah.
You got a reason to listen to me. Remember, who are you? What do you have? Why should I care? I'm Les Brown. I'm Mrs. Mamie Brown's baby boy. She adopted me. All that I am and all that I hope to be, I owe to my mother. I decided, this is what I have. I wanted to buy her a home. Why should you care? How many of you have somebody you'd like to do something for? Very good. Now I'm going to show you how you can do that. Do you see what I'm doing?
Yes.
So what's happening now, you have a vested interest in listening to me. Does that make sense?
Yes.
But how many of you ever heard people just tell a good story, but it was all their story, but it had nothing to do with you? Raise your hand if you understand what I'm talking about. Yes. How are we doing in the time?
9:24.
Got it. Ask me some questions about this process that I'm showing. When I'm showing you, people don't show you this kind of stuff. I'm showing you secrets that can help tighten and make your presentation very powerful. Yes.
Hi, Les.
Yeah.
In terms of telling the story so that it's really relevant to them no matter what happened with us, what kind of bridging questions would you ask specifically?
Give me an example.
So, well, I don't want to give one away from my speech today, but just personal things that have happened with my mother that have been very sad and very upsetting that I actually use for publicity purposes to help others.
Yes. What you want to do is, how many of you know that there are moments in your life that you're a child and growing up, but then also you become the adult. And you become responsible for the person who was once responsible for you. How many of you know that that's not easy?
Right.
It's a loving experience, but how many know it can be one of the most difficult experiences you've ever had in your life?
Yeah.
Very good. I want to share something with you.
Ooh,
You
I
see?
love that.
Yeah,
Thank
but
you.
did that answer your question?
Yes.
That's perfect, thank you.
Yes, okay, yes. But I want you to ask me these questions because I want to make, so you can have some takeaways that you can implement them in your presentations. And then I'm looking for, at this stage of my life, I'm looking for, 7 is my lucky number. I'm one of 7 children. My phone number is 702. My zip code is 34747. My social security number is 267. Did I tell you 7 is my lucky number? Let me tell you, I'm in room 725. You know, Joshua marched around the walls of Jericho 7 times. David dipped himself in the river 7. Did I tell you 7 is my lucky number? All right? All right. So I'm looking for, so this is 2014. I'm looking for 14 proteges who want to be great speakers and same time have a greater impact and learn the techniques and strategies of how to earn 7 figures in this industry from
And
what
I'm
I've
number
done.
1.
Okay, well, let me show you on the program first. Let me show you the program. Yeah.
I'll take 2.
They call but few children, all right? Okay, so let me show you, we're ready now, right? Trying to get the radio person on the phone for me. With your phone, it'll be better because you won't have as much interference. Here's the number. This is Ernie from Malaysia. He's my family member from Malaysia. Oh, y'all can do better than that, sir. Where is Jane? Jane Doomer, where's Jane?
Right here, right here.
She gave me her spot this morning. Give her a round of applause. That's my girl. I'm so glad we hooked up last night. Listen, we missed each other 3 years ago, but let the record show you're not getting away from me this time, all right? Yes, indeed.
The reason I said yes, because now you know me.
That's right. And you're going to see that I paid too. Oh my goodness. But I want to make this special for you because one of the things about Tanya and her, the T in her name stands for total commitment. She has a total commitment for this association to be everything that you need in taking your career to the next level. So give her another round of applause. Now, there's something else I want to share with you. Ladies and gentlemen, if you notice I come on the stage, I don't play. All right? Everybody, let us say together, engulf the room.
Engulf the room.
Own the room.
Own the
That
room.
when you get on this stage, you have to speak with power and conviction. That when you speak, because your goal and objective is to override the inner conversations that people have going on in their head. And so when you're up here, there's things that most people do that they don't not even realize because they have not been coached. And the reason that it's very important that you need to be coached is because you can't see the picture when you're in the frame. Okay? So a lot of speakers do this when they're talking. This is called the 2-step. All right? And then there's what the other one is called the wanderers. So when I'm speaking, and the way that I train you how to speak, it is a dance. You're orchestrating things. When I talked yesterday, it said, there's something in each and every one of you that waits and listens to the voice of the genuine in yourself. And if you cannot hear it, all of your life will be spent at the ends of strings of somebody else pulls. You notice I'm looking at my hands? Where are you looking? Okay? So every movement is orchestrated to impact. So there are different levels of speaking. There's your voice, your facial expressions, your body movements, your voice projection. When I get ready to close, when I do my piece called If You Want a Thing Bad Enough to Go Out and Fight For It, I lean forward. Why? Because now I'm speaking from my diaphragm. Now the goal is to have the fullness of my voice to go and build to a crescendo. But if I just stood here and did the same thing, most speakers speak from here. Why is it important to learn how to speak from your diaphragm? Because This is where your power is, number one. Number two, if you don't, I used to give speeches and I would be hoarse afterwards. You got it on the phone? Watch how I handle this call. Now, this is about the Malibu Mastermind. Is it on mute?
Go.
So this is the morning personality in Las Vegas. Hello, hi, this is Les Brown. Yes, how are you? I'm doing better than good, better than most, and sometimes even better than that. Say it again? Well, we want to invite everybody to come to the Malibu Mastermind. It takes place on this Friday. And what we're doing is teaching. Okay. I thought that's the personality. I'm ready to go. So there's a guy named Steven Cipini. He created the Malibu Mastermind, but he's using third-party validation to promote it. That's what I'm going to do for you today. Promote it. But write this out, instant credibility. Yeah. One of the things I'm going to show you about the value of power, credibility, what it can do for you. So, this guy could not get into these people, but he used my name and that got him in. And so, I'm now in to promote it for him to validate his organization, to validate the Malibu Mastermind. So go to MalibuMastermind.com. You'll be able to check it out. But I want you to notice how I use and control this interview. Because most interviews, they don't give you a lot of time. You got to get in to get out. Oh, by the way, I have hot flashes too. God's got a sense of humor. Come on, I take the cover off. Come on, I take the cover off. But I'm here. I used to laugh at you, not what I do. I'm turning red as I talk about this, but y'all can't see it. I can't believe it. Listen to you tell me, I was having hard flashes because of dedication? Yes. Oh my God. But I'm here and I'm grateful. That's all I have to deal with hot flashes. I can handle that. Also, this is very important, and speaking, is that you have to learn how to take a question, give them, he's going to give me a question. So I'm going to take this question, I'm going to give him what he wants, and then I'm going to do what I want to do.
That's right.
To get what I want.
That's right.
Okay? Amen. So, speaking is not just about standing on the platform. We teach you how to master all platforms of speaking. So how to interview.
Good.
I hear the Jeopardy song.
Yeah, I like that.
Man, I'm doing great. Man, I'm doing incredibly well. I used to do what you do, and I tell you, I really miss it, but I'm doing incredibly well, and I want to thank you very much for giving me the opportunity to interview with you this morning.
This business builder is called the MalibuMastermind.com, and people can go there and check out information. Today, over 72% of corporations are doing strategic partnerships, and what we do is teach people 3 things that's very important to becoming successful today, because you know the day is gone where you can go out and go to college, get a job, and work 40 hours a week for 40 years and expect to retire. That day is gone. So what we're doing is teaching people how to expand their mindset, number 1. Number 2, how to increase their skill set. And 3, how to develop strategic relationships, supportive relationships that can help you get to the next level. And when I come into town on Friday, that's what we're going to be doing, teaching people how to use their voice, their story, and their experiences on how they can begin to generate more income for themselves. Yes, it is. And one of the things you do, you know, when I was in radio, this is many years ago, I was LB Triple P, Les Brown, your platter playing pocket. There was none before me, and there will be none after me. Therefore, that makes me the one and only. Young and single and love to mingle, certified, bona fide, duly qualified to bring you satisfaction and a whole lot of action. So, but now I live myself. Come on now. So what we're doing is teaching people how to tell their story, and how with their story, because of their experiences and things that they've gone through, knowledge is the new currency. How they can begin to ensure that they're not replaced by technology or outsourcing, and doing something they love where they can make a difference in people's lives and also earn a lot of money in this new economy. Absolutely, yes it is. Yes, and I'm conducting it, and I'm going to teach people how they can take their knowledge, abilities, and skills, and how they can carve out a place for themselves in the economy. Because, see, at the end of the day, we were not going to work for a living, but to live our making, and living our making will make our living. So I'm going to show them how to have the versatility and flexibility to use some talents that they have that they're not even aware of. And I want you to be there too. I used to do what you do. Now I earn $25,000 an hour when I speak domestically, $125,000 when I speak internationally. So you want to be there too. You can never have too much money. Can you feel a brother up in here, up in here? Thank you. And I want to see you when I get there. Let's have lunch. That's right. I pay for it, my brother. I take you down to White Castle. Very good. All right. You too. Bye now.
It's these little things.
Yeah.
Now, what did you notice that I did in that interview? Say it again? I made him a friend. Yes. What else did I do?
You use sound bites, honey. A lot of
You
them.
use sound bites.
Lot of them.
Yes.
Masterfully.
Yes.
Knowledge
It
is
is.
the new currency.
What do you say?
Knowledge is the new.
Knowledge is the new currency. Yes. I edified them too. Yes.
You did exactly what you told us we should be doing, those 3 points. You told them who you are.
Right.
Specifically, your background in a quick and flashy kind of way. Then you told them how the mastermind group could actually benefit them if
Yes.
they want to go to the next
Who
level.
are you? What do you have? Right.
Exactly. And why should I care?
Then I said, 40-40 plan is gone. We can go to college, graduate, and work for 40 years, 40 hours a week.
Exactly, and mention what she said as knowledge is the new currency, and that's true.
Yes, yes, ma'am.
You also let him know that you used to do what he does now.
Right, so that I created a level of identification.
Absolutely, absolutely. That was brilliant, brilliant, brilliant.
Yes. And then I said at the end, you need to come too. You can never have too much money. And they know in radio, it's very uncertain and very unpredictable. Did you learn anything, get anything out of that?
Absolutely.
All right, thank you very much. Give me a round of applause, please. All right, let's go here. Which one is it works here, attorney? Which one should I push?
We're trying to get your thing went down.
Oh, okay. Can you say that another way, Tanya? We're communicating. Put my finger down and I can sit over there. Nobody's gonna be interested in me now. You know what? Y'all need some help up in here. I'm gonna have to pray for this whole audience. How you doing, Norma? I love Nova. Let the record show she's an icon in the industry. Make sure you spend some time with her. She's brilliant. I learned so much from her over the years. Very good friend. Any questions you'd like to ask me, please? Here we start moving forward. Yes, sir.
Yesterday you mentioned the idea of
Yes.
Wait for the mic, I'm so sorry.
Yes. You can't run with those heels on, you know, those shoes. Those shoes are not for running. Yeah, all right. Yes, sir.
Yesterday you introduced the concept of, you mentioned that you get 3,000 requests for speaking, and then I kind of was lost on that point, because it struck me immediately that you can't do 3,000 speaking engagements.
No, I have over 3,000 requests a year, but I choose which ones I want.
Right.
The point that I'm making is the value of telling your story and creating special moments with your story, that people leave your presence feeling better about themselves, but talking about you. Because what you've done is use your life story and the lessons that you have learned to teach them some things that will create a shift in their life. Am I making sense?
You're making sense.
Okay, so that's where the requests come from. And people, I will do my story how I became a disc jockey. Now, when I did this story in fact, I want all of you to go to lesbrownmotivation.com. You're going to get my free You Deserve. My first PBS special is the first motivational special that was done on PBS that got a Grammy, the only one that's ever done that. They always had, before I came on there, psychologists. And then you're going to get where I did another PBS special where I was speaking to 12,000 people in Chicago. And then you're going to get another special that I did where I was speaking before 80,000 people in the Georgia Dome. So there are things that I'm saying to you now. You will see these things in operation. Watch for the first 7 times just to listen and experience for yourself. Then the next 7 times, watch and listen how the audience is listening to me and how they're reacting, and you'll be able to anticipate that. So now, but what got me there, I went into Georgia Dome to give a speech called It's Not Over Till I Win, around a story involving my son John Wesley, playing Connect 4. But the audience said to me afterwards, hey, I want that part of your speech called You Gotta Be Hungry. Then I realized, how many of you ever bought an album, you bought it for one song, you got it home, you heard something else that was better, and say, hey, I like this. And so I realized that was my winning story, and I used that story, and as a result, that story of how I became a disc jockey took me around the world. That's what created the $3,000 request a year. And what I'm saying in that will become your I Have a Dream. That will become your Malcolm X by any means necessary.
Yes, I understand that. So my thought was this. I was talking to my buddy Craig Valentine last night, and I told him to talk.
I know Craig, he's a good guy.
That's my boy, he's my mentor too. And one of the things I shared with him, because he loves the stage, like I know you love the stage, I happen to hate the stage. But the idea I was opened up to him was, you can't actually fill the 2,000 requests. Because we're in this age where your technology, everybody who can request you can hear you every day, all day. And that's why I was telling you, it's about leveraging. Because I know you probably get tired of jumping in and out of airports, tired of being away from your family, tired of being, you can leverage all that, like right this.
First of all, I never would have known that had you not told me. Thank you.
Okay, I want to not leave that over
What is your name? What is your name?
My name is Gennaro Crenshaw.
Gennaro? Okay, thank you.
Okay.
You're making a very good point. Thank you so very much. And Gennaro is making a very good point, and I'm going to show you my training today. And the thing about the training is that you can do it from the comfort of your home. How many of you know that in order to achieve mastery, how many want to become a great speaker? Raise your hands, please. Okay, good. So part of it, you know, when you look at one good example of a person, Serena and Venus Williams. Their father, Richard Williams, he went to the library and he got the best tennis players' books and videos and studied them to train them to become world-class tennis players. Did he do a good job? He studied the best, okay? So what I've done is put together, I want you to go to lesbrownmotivation.com, but the training that I provide for you, because I've been doing training, and part of this is that you're going to have a 2-day training with me in the class with you, but the other thing is that you're going to have things as modules that you go through each day that you watch and that you study, and you do it on your own time, and you can repeat that and repeat that. And so now what I'm doing is just like what you're saying, sir, is that I'm duplicating myself through technology and personalizing my training with the people that we work with so they can do it at the comfort of their home when they so desire. So, but what I want to show you, when you make an investment, how many of you want to know, does it work? Raise your hands, please. Okay, so what I'm going to share with you is what works. How many want to know what works? Good, so what you will discover in the training, and as we train you, you will discover what works and you can see what the journey is. I started out at 45. I don't have any college education. I never worked for a major corporation, and I thought those were things that will hold me back. But then, when I met my mentor, what he did was he put me in a structured program, and he trained me. He put together a system for me. How many of you want a system that will move you in the direction of where you want to go and take the guesswork out? Okay, and so this is what we have. I'm ready now. So what this speaking mastery will do is, and I need, Tony, you know I left my Mickey Mouse watch, I think, upstairs. So where's my watch? Where's your watch? I want to be on time. It will change your life by improving your communication and the presentation skills with the world's leading authority of public speaking. This program will do several things. Master powerful presentation skills. Build quick connections. How to use pregnant pauses. How to use your voice. How to establish rapport with your audience. How to expand your influence. How many of you like to do those things? Raise your hands, please. Good. And the other thing is, the part 2 is and communicate your way to greatness. It's a 5-week interactive online training with videos and audios and PDFs and handouts. And you'll become a powerful communicator in using this process. Turn this off. And so when I put this together, we put a lot of thinking in this. You belong to a community of online community of achievers. New modules released every 7 days so that you can work this into your schedule around everything that you're doing. It has a $1,997 value. And so, but we're going to also do this, that you're going to get my collection. Because one of the things that I did when I first started out, I listened to Earl Nightingale, I listened to Zig Ziglar. Not as much as Earl Nightingale, because Zig Ziglar had a twang, and I didn't want to adopt that twang. but you will hear that's going to be major for you that separated me from speakers. You pick it up, is my energy, and let us say together, rhythm.
Rhythm.
There's a rhythm to speaking. And you will pick it up as you listen over and over. My top speakers, I can tell those who've been doing the homework and those who haven't, because they will start off with their own rhythm. You have a rhythm, but you need to know what it sounds like and what works. Choosing your future. When I did that series, I was sleeping on the floor of the Penobscot building in Detroit, Michigan, and bathing down the sink down the hall. And you could hear it in my voice. But by the time I got to the end of that series, I was speaking at the Church of the Day, Jack Boland. 6 weeks later, I got a check for $2.5 million from King World. The first time I ever saw a check in my life that large with my name on it. I was a happy cat for her. Let me tell you something. Up in here, let me tell you something. Shake somebody's head on your right lip and say, I'm in the right profession. Let's thank God. I'm telling you, look here, I'm 69. Who's trying to find a job for a 69-year-old man? There's too many medical expenses, you know. You're gonna want too many days off, all right? So, you know, I mean, this you're controlling your own future. Communicate your way to unlimited wealth. You'll find out how I earned over $65 million doing what I love to do. And that has a $998 value. And then develop a powerful keynote presentation. How many of you want to do that? Raise your hand. Everybody's hand should be up on that. Yes, how much time do I have? Tell me my time. Trace my time. Go ahead. I got 10 minutes left? No.
How much time do I have left? I've been up here and I haven't been up here an hour? Oh my God! Let me hurry. Let me hurry. Oh my God.
You have 15 after, so you're good.
I'm 15 minutes after?
Yeah, you've got 25 minutes.
25, thank you, that's more like it, bless you, okay. This is how to construct a powerful keynote, don't have people sneezing through it. And, God bless you, I'm glad to meet you, all right. How do you want to develop a powerful keynote? I got a system to extract it out, I'm only giving an example with somebody too. All right, and so it connects you with your power. That has a $694 value. This is online streaming. Now, this is event bonuses today. You're going to get video on how to tell your story. I walk you through a step-by-step process on doing that. And live coaching and question and answer with me. We will do that as well. How many think that would have some value for you? Okay? That has a $694 value. And so, the Speaker Mastery Summary. Communicate Your Way to Greatness, $1997. The Les Brown Collection, $997. Develop a Powerful Keynote Presentation, that's your base, $697. Event bonuses, how to tell your story, live coaching.
I just wanted to get your attention.
Jack Wallace, comedian, said he was in church and the preacher was eulogizing his lady, and the phone went off and she sat up in the casket and said, "Can I have my day? Can I have my presentation?" All right. So this total value, how many like to be paid what you're worth? Raise your hands, please. Good. I'm the highest paid in the industry and I like to be paid what I'm worth. This is $4,373 is what this coaching involves. It involves the live streaming, but in addition to that, what I've decided to do, this is what you call a Tanya May special. Write this down, please. Write down 4,373. And then draw a line through it. Write down 997. Say thank you, Les.
Thank you, Les.
Yes, and that way you're getting 44 years of experience. Plus, in addition to that, for those of you that choose to, we have a 2-day training. This 2-day training takes place in Orlando of August the 12th and the 13th. It's $2,997, but today, if you sign up for this program, you get it for $500. Okay? So all together will be $1,497. That includes a 2-day training. I'm going to make that 3 days. I'm adding a third day. I live in Orlando, and I want a 3rd day. So you're going to get put on there 3 days. I know Dr. Julie's going to be upset, but I'm going to do 3 days with you, okay? And there's a reason for that. Now, let's get to the other presentation, please. So, any questions, please? Y'all have any questions?
What was the date on that live event?
The live event is on August, what is that? 12th, 13th, and 14th. Yes. 12th, 13th, well, it's going to be that Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Those are 3 days, okay? That's what it'll be. And you will learn, yes.
Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday.
Say it again?
Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday.
Oh, I'm off altogether. Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. All right. Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday in Mickey Mouse Land. All right, in Orlando. So let me show you what this journey has been. I start off with a story about my mother. I mean, you remember that, right? And I talked about Mrs. Mamie Brown adopting Wesley and I. That's my twin brother. And so, everybody repeat after me, please. It's not where you start. It's where you're going. All right? And so my goal and objective, you know, my mother, if you look over here, Weston and I were eating 2 pieces of sugar cane. Donald Trump's father gave him $200 million to help him make his dream come true. How many people know if somebody gave you $200 million, Mike, you got a good shot at becoming a billionaire right there. Mama gave us 2 pieces of sugar cane. And we had an advantage.
She gave us 2 pieces of sugar cane and the ability to tell a story. My mother told me stories. While my brothers and sisters were outside playing, I said, Mama, what is it, Leslie? Will you tell me that story again? Why? I told you that story before. I said, but I love the way you tell it. And here's something, is a secret that I learned from my mother. When you tell a story, just because you told it 100 times, there are people who are hearing that story for the first time, you got to tell it like the first time. And even if they've heard it, if you tell it right, they will enjoy it again. You buy a record of music, you hear it played. When you go to hear an artist sing it, you want them to sing it in the same way in which you bought it. Am I right? Yeah. Give me what I bought. That's the same thing in telling the story. And I'm going to do that with my story. So I said to Mike Williams, I don't have a story. He said, Les, tell me something, a defining moment in your life. Well, when I wanted to become a disc jockey. He said, what was defining about that? I said, well, he told me no. He says, then what do you do? I went home, I thought about it, and I told Mr. Washington. He said, go back again. I went back again and said, no again. He said, well, what do you do then? I thought about it when I got home, and I showed up the next day. And they told me no again. And finally, the guy just said, go get me some coffee. He said, Brown, that's your story. Why'd you keep on going back again? I was hungry to get involved in radio. He said, that's your story. How many ever heard the story? Raise your hands, please. How many of you have not heard the story? Good. I'm going to give you examples of the story why you want to put the work into the story. So that became my signature story. So the value of coaching, having someone to pull out your signature story. So it was no big deal to me, but he wasn't in my story. He could see it for me. That's why it's important to have somebody can see what you can't see. And so he was able to do that for me. Michael Jordan was a very talented player when he went to the Chicago Bulls. But they didn't win a championship until Phil Jackson came along. That's the value of coaching. He's one of the best coaches that ever walked the planet. And so you look at your goals. This is my coach, Mike Williams. I heard him speak, and I was fascinated with his communication skills. He is a strategist, somebody you should invite to your conference. And he put together a strategy for me to go from where I was in Columbus, Ohio. He's the author of the book, The Road to Your Best Stuff. You can get it on Amazon. And that man there, had it not been for him, you would not hear this Les Brown here. And as a result, I became a concert promoter. These little guys came to town. Now in front you see Michael Jackson. He was 10 years old, and back there I am standing at 175 pounds. I'm 251, I'm going back. I mean, you have and nobody looking at those guys. I did not know who they're going to become. They did not know who I was going to become. When you shake someone's hand around your table and say you have greatness in you, you have no idea whose hand you just shook. Eye has not seen, ear has not heard, nor is it in the heart of mankind what God has in store for that hand that you shook and for the hand that they shook. Shake someone's hand on your right and left and say, I'm glad you're here.
Yes. I'll give you another one. Cool. Very easy.
So let me tell you the truth. So starting with the journey of the story. So as a result of his coaching, how many want to make a difference in your community? I became a state legislator in Columbus, Ohio. After I got out of radio, I ran for the Ohio legislature. I passed 14 bills my first term. So the coaching that we provide for you teach you how to have the versatility and flexibility to speak in any kind of environment. I was the chairman of the Human Resource Committee and the Education Committee. I was going to go for the Senate, and then I was going to run for Lieutenant Governor, and I was going to run for Governor. And then my mother became sick. She was identified with breast cancer. My brothers and sisters wanted to put her in a nursing home, and I said no. I resigned from the Ohio legislature, and I left there in 3 days. When I knocked on the door, a lady named Miss Bildens, who was there, her friend said, Leslie's here. Mama said, I knew it. I knew it. I said, Mama, unpack your things. You're not going anywhere. Yeah. My brothers and sisters, I surprised them all. I I said, unpack everything you got. You are not going anywhere. I'll take care of you. And so that changed the course of my life. How many know if you got somebody you love, you have to put some of your dreams on hold, right? That's right. But to know was an interesting thing. It was time, because I decided, I went to this event and I saw Dr. Norman Vincent Peale speak, and I said, that's what I want to do. Write this down. Borrow credibility. You want to create relationships. Borrow credibility. I guarantee you, when you use my testimony, that is going to enhance your credibility. Wait, Les Brown came and spoke at your conference. There's everybody in the industry that know me. So you want to develop, you want to write this down, partner up. You want to partner with people who have access, who have reputation, who have credibility that you don't have. And so I wanted an association with Dr. Norman Vincent Peale, because he wrote the book, The Power of Positive Thinking. He was called the Dean of Motivation. I never forget when I opened for him in Kankakee, Illinois, and I was backstage with a speaker, and a young speaker said, Dr. Peale, how old are you? He said, Sonny, I'm 92. I looked at him and said, I don't know if I want to live to get 92. He said, that's because you've never been 91. Oh man, yeah, great sense of humor. How many have a college education? Raise your hands, please. Very good. How many have ever given a lecture at Harvard University? Raise your hands. No hands up. Shake someone's hand on your right or left and say, that's in your future. That's in your future. So, I'm going to teach you how to communicate effectively so that you will increase your credibility. I've given 4 lectures at Harvard, and I'm going back again later this year, so it enhances your credibility. I've also been asked to be a professor, to do a coaching program at a college, I think it's Wayne County College in Wayne State University.
Yeah, Wayne State. Woo!
Oh yeah.
It's in Detroit.
In Detroit, right. They're negotiating with me now to do that. So I don't have a college education, but I've developed credibility with my ability to communicate. Let me show you how to do that. And then I had a talk show, and it allows you, when you can speak, you're going to get called upon to do a variety of things. I did 8 specials for PBS. In fact, I'm the only speaker that did a PBS special with other speakers. Let me send you a copy of it. And I almost didn't do it because they called me 4 to 5 different times and said, no, I don't want to do it just me. I want to have some other speakers on there, and I've never seen any Latino speakers, so I want them on there. We need some more women on PBS. And they kept on calling me, and then I said, okay. They said, Les, all right, we'll let you do it. So you're going to get a copy of this PBS special that I've done with other speakers, just unknown speakers, but speakers who had a story and who just weren't very rude with their telephones on while people are talking. And so what I'm telling you, I had no idea that I would win the CPAE Award from the National Speakers Association, of Toastmasters Golden Gavel Award, and be selected among the top 5 speakers in the world: General Norman Schwarzkopf, Lee Iacocca, Robert Shulin, Paul Harvey, and that little dude that has some sugar cane. Y'all better go buy some sugar cane today. Okay, this is this next chapter. What I'm doing now, which is so very exciting, I'm traveling around the world. We're going to Sweden. Dr. Norman, look at this. This is my life partner and business partner, Dr. Julie Van Putten. Give her a round of applause, please. Stand up over there. We're going to India, we're going to China, we've been to Singapore, Malaysia, Amsterdam, we're going to Sweden, and I'm telling you, so this, and everybody write this down. 95% of speaking engagements are because of personal recommendation. So you want to have a relationship with someone who's connected with the people you want to be connected to. Does that make sense? So Veronica and Richard Tan, they have 5,000 events a year. Hello? Because they admire me and I admire them and we're very good friends, I recommend speakers for them. So I train speakers for their platforms. So this is, the world is different now. Where you start out is not important. It's where you're going. When I started out, I had no idea that I would be heading up a presentation and be on the stage with Sir Richard Branson. You ever heard that name before? Yes. Yeah, you know, I did not know. And I'm saying there are places you're going. Robert Kiyosaki and T. Harv Eker. We're in Johannesburg, South Africa together. And so this is who I went to. This young lady behind me. I trained her. Her name is Susan Stryden. She's bringing me to Sweden. That's her son. I'm training him too. When you come to my training, if you're part of our program, you buy this program, you bring your adult children, they come free. We train them too. My kids speak. You go write this down, OnaBrown.com, O-N-A Brown.com. She earns $12,000 an hour as a speaker. Ona's an introvert, but she likes making a difference in people's lives. This is Dennis. Dennis was diagnosed with cancer at 17. We're both cancer conquerors, and so we're doing some events together for cancer conquerors. He's a fine young man, love it. This young man, he was involved in gangs and drugs and was on the verge of suicide. Remember I told you you have an energy signature, that there are people who will hear your voice, and as a result of them hearing your voice make a difference in their life. He heard my voice. Someone gave him a cassette tape. Dr. Nelson Mandela there on the right loved him, and he heard my voice, and it changed his life. We have a video on that. Ashton Williamson, and now I'm going back to do some work with him in Johannesburg, South Africa. But he talks about the impact of my program. I didn't know him, and there are people whose lives you're going to touch that you don't know. Al McDougall. He was an alcoholic for many years, and now he is the spokesperson for Mothers Against Drunk Drivers. He went through our training. Sean Arnold, she worked for a major law firm in California. They came to her and said, we're going in another what? Direction. And so I taught her how to use her story and her knowledge. I said, knowledge is new currency, and you can take yourself in another direction. How many of you want to take yourself in another direction? Very good. We teach you how to do that. So now Sean works with us, and she speaks, and she's powerful. Clifton Anderson, he was working for a major company, and you can see he graduated from a prestigious business school, and they came to him after he made budget and said, we're going in another what? Direction. And now he's called the voice of inspiration, and he's controlling his own destiny. Trish Muna de Alba, she was molested as a kid, and she lost her power through that experience, and now she's teaching women how to take their power back, and young girls. Gloria Ramirez, who has an MBA and worked for major corporations, but now she has a very great heart for making a difference in the lives of children around the world. And so Kim went to an interview with San Diego from LA, and they turned her down for the job. Kim is on the left. On her way back, she listened to It's Not Over Until I Win. She got back down to LA. She went in business for herself. She is now a millionaire. Annie Crawley came to hear me. She was a teacher at the time. She enjoyed teaching, but she loves underwater videography. That day she sold everything she had after she heard me. That's going to happen to you. Sold everything she had and started to study. Go to her website called Dive Into Your Imagination. DiveIntoYourImagination.com. Annie Crawley. And she sent me an email. Les, I'm videotaping some hammerhead sharks. Come on down. I'm going to teach you how to do underwater videography. I said, have you ever heard of a black person being eaten by a hammerhead shark? Or freezing on Mount Everest? We don't do that kind of stuff. You ever see anybody in the evening news, a black person say, yes, I got bit by a shark? No! You might get bit by catfish or brim. But not no shark. Are you crazy? Who does that kind of thing? I'm not interested. You just send me their pictures. I'm quite fine with that. Whatever. Johnny Wimbrey, his best friend was killed. He went to church with a gun in his pocket to avenge his death. And the boy's mother came outside the church and said, I forgive the young man who killed my son. Johnny turned around, went in the church, gave the minister his gun, and he said, the minister said, you need to do something with that anger. I'll introduce you to Les Brown. And now he did a book called From the Hood to Doing Good. I wrote the foreword for it.
He travels around the world, perhaps one of the most gifted speakers I've ever worked with. Kenny Chapman, boy, what a story. His father was a motorcyclist. He was in motorcycle gangs and was killed in the backyard. He introduced his son, Kenny, to smoking marijuana at 12. But Kenny now speaking for corporations and business people around the world and entrepreneurs. Soraya Dean, her goal is to create a dialogue between Muslims and Christians, a powerful speaker. I want you to, every day I put out a motivational message, Dr. Julie and I, and go to brown.les, and you see that motivational message. We have over 390,000 people. We have some download resources for you at Les Brown Motivation. Bless you. And the main key that we do in our training is teach you how to speak from your heart. Words that are spoken from the heart enter the heart. That's a process. That's an experience. And that's what our training does. It creates an experience that helps you to access how to speak from your heart. When you can speak from your heart, you can impact more people than you can ever begin to imagine. And for those of you that are serious and want to save time and want to learn how to begin to step into your greatness as a speaker to change lives, we invite you to consider our program. Any questions, please? I have 5 minutes left. Yes. Any questions?
Coming with the mic.
Yes, sir. Okay. Yeah, sir? That one right there? Yeah. Yes, sir.
Les, thank you. I've heard your story several times and it's always inspiring. And I want to know your opinion about the saying you can't be a prophet in your hometown.
That is not true. Absolutely not true. Here's what's universal. Impact drives income. I started, when I was taking care of my mother, to keep my morale high, because I was taking care of her. And I was the father. I was teaching a class by Eric Butterworth called Discover the Power Within. I went from 5 people. Next week, over 36 people. Those 5 people told other people. Ultimately, within 6 months, I went from 5 people to 3,000 people in the heart of Liberty City at the Caleb Auditorium. That's not true. If you make a difference in people's lives, they will come and they will bring other people. They will follow you. That is absolutely not true. Impact drives request and require, and it also drives the kind of money that you can demand. That's why you don't want to leave your career to the chance of guessing it. You want somebody who's been there, done that, and bought the t-shirt. Yes.
Les, thank you, first of all, for who you are. You're the most amazing, blessed man, and we are always so grateful to hear you.
Thank you.
Oh, you're awesome. And you know, even hearing you different times and different stories, my question is, how do you decide what stories you're going to tell?
Based upon the audience.
Yeah.
Yeah, what we do is teach you how, once we find out what your story is, then we tell you, because you want to have the versatility and flexibility to speak to any type of audience and to speak to corporations, and how to begin to create a demand for yourself so that your presentation is a live brochure. This reason that I don't have any 4-color brochures to this day is because I'm strategically communicating my story in a way so that people will leave and go back and tell the people that they work with. There are 2 types of marketing strategies. There's one is a push strategy where you try and get in the door. The other one is the pull strategy where people that's already in there pull you in. And that's the secret of how I train my speakers, and the speakers we have trained have a greater demand for them coming to speak for corporations and organizations because of the fact that we taught them how to develop their presentation so it becomes a magnet and people are drawn to them. So we have a conversation, we can do that, and show you how to do that. So you can transcend, because right now, there are only a handful of speakers that's making $5,000 to $10,000 an hour for corporations, and the need for corporations to bring in speakers is greater because they're suffering from what is called presenteeism. People are present, but they're not engaged in doing the work. Yes?
I had the opportunity to hear you speak a few years ago, and you talked a lot about product and how to put together product and how to speak. What do you recommend today? Because there's a lot of focus on making sure that we have a book, or we have a video, or we have an audio, or something like that.
I'm glad you asked that question, because all of those answers that you need, they're in that class that we provide. Yeah, because it's not a quick answer, because you need to know how to make the right decisions, where the best vendors get you the best prices, and what is it that you need to do. But the other thing is not stacking up on a lot of product. This program is streamed live. So the day is gone that people have to go and run to the back of the room to buy a product. I mean, they can do that, but I don't have anything for you to go to the back of the room and get. I don't want you to have to worry about carrying a big bag. That day is gone. I saw the advertisement for Superman, the Superman movie. I want to say, Superman, what phone booth are you going to change in, buddy? That day is gone, so you can stream. And why you want it streamed? Because you don't have to worry about people duplicating your stuff and giving it to other people. You want to stream it live and have access to it whenever you so desire. So now it's different. And so we have, that's why Cerny, where's Cerny? Oh, right over here, Cerny here from Malaysia. They'll put the whole system together so that people can get your online course, and that's what Jane does. Teach you how to begin to have your course available when people can fit it into their schedule, and they can have access to it and work at their own pace. It's a different day. You can earn more money now than ever before when I was going from city to city to hotel to hotel. I don't have to do that anymore. I do it now when I want to go, if it's in a warm place. I only came to this cold place because of Congress. You told me, well, I can't get my thing up. Wow. Yes, you got 2 more minutes. Yeah. Y'all got problems. Yeah. Don't forget this. You're gonna love those videos. You're gonna see the young Les Brown to the mature Les Brown, not the old Les Brown, to the mature at LesBrownMotivation.com. Yes.
Hi.
Hi.
Before yesterday, Les Brown was just a name for me. Unlike most people in the room, I heard the name several times, but I really didn't have any background. So I'm overwhelmed with joy and all the information that you gave us. But what I wanted to ask was, as I look around the room, I look very different than most people here. I'm a lot younger. And my thing is, my mom actually had this. No offense.
We never would have known that if you not told us. Yeah. Yeah, but you working that job there, baby. You working it. Go ahead, come on now. You working it. So what's your question?
But yes, my question is, well, I actually had to be told by my mother that I'm indeed a speaker, because I speak all the time. I speak to children, high school girls, and things like that. But I guess my question is, at my age, at where I am right now, is it even possible, 30, right? Is it even possible for me to speak to a crowd, for instance, like this one? Because it's like you say, you always go.
What is your name?
Shalon.
Shalon? Okay, yes, first of all, Shalon, I started out when I was 45, okay? My son John Leslie was speaking, and you'll get one of the videos at 14 and earning $2,500 an hour. Okay. Now, you know the most difficult people in the world to work with are your children, all right?
Right.
So that's why I know my program is superior to everybody's program on the planet for $9.97, because of the fact that I got my kids involved. And the reason I got them involved is I want to get them out of my pocket. Now, but here's something else. I'm over time. Don't you have somebody coming after me?
Yes.
Then I want to be respectful. Yes, so I'm over time. Yes.
Just one question. One question.
That's her. No, that's the sponsors. If the sponsor says yes, then yes.
Tanya.
The sponsor says no.
Yeah, I just wanted to make one comment.
No, did she say yes?
She did.
Well, you got.
I got 20 seconds.
Wait for the mic, kid.
Okay. Thank you, Les. I appreciate it. Last summer, I told my son I'll pay him $1 for every motivational video he watches. Or $2 for every video that he watches. He absorbed everything that you've done. He'll be there in Orlando. Now he's speaking internationally thanks to you, Les. So we'll be there. So I want to thank you for that.
Kids love my laughter. It's amazing. I started out speaking to kids in daycare centers, and they tell the teacher, break the man back with the funny laugh. Yes, I get some more kids. So yeah, that's why this our training It's very exciting, and kids love it. I'm looking forward to meeting him. I want to thank you, Tanya, and your husband Mike, for the work that you're doing. I want to thank you for inviting me here. I'd just like to leave this way. I was going to do my signature message, but we're out of time, so I want to leave this with you. I don't know what your goals are, I don't know what your dreams are. Here's what I know. You're part of an organization that's committed to helping you to learn the systems and help you to put together a presentation, seminars, workshops, and your consulting, and be able to leverage your knowledge in the workplace and make a difference and earn substantial income. And so through the collaborative, supportive relationships that you have here and the ongoing things that Tanya and Mike will expose you to is going to accelerate your success as speakers. So let's give her another round of applause for the great work that she and Mike's doing. So I'd like to say on behalf of Cerny and Dr. Julie and Michelina and those of you that are here in pursuit of your goals, something my mother used to love to hear me say, I dedicate this to your goal and dream. You want to have a powerful closing. It says simply this: if you want a thing bad enough to go out and fight for it, to work day and night for it, to give up your time, your peace, and your sleep for it, if all that you dream and scheme is about it, and life seems useless and worthless without it, and if you gladly sweat for it and fret for it and plan for it, and lose all your terror of the opposition for it, and if you simply go after that thing that you want with all of your capacity, strength and sagacity, faith, hope, and confidence, and stern pertinacity, if neither cold poverty, famish, or gold, sickness or pain of body and brain can keep you away from the thing that you want, dogged and grim, you besiege and beset it. With the help of God, you'll get it. This has been Mrs. Mamie Brown's baby boy and Barbara Pender's pride and joy.